somebody has posted questions and nobody's ever answered. Has anybody ever used the they call the Zizzo Pro for cutting the nails on their dogs? And is it recommended?
I have not personally seen that product. I know that there's lots of different products on the market. You might want to send an email to puppydepartment@leaderDog.org. So puppydept@leaderdog.org, maybe with a link to the product so that we can see it.
Yeah, because there have been other people that have, put on there, and I did it one time. I said, I put it as administration, wanted to know, because
Yeah.
I can't visually see Edna's nail well enough. I don't want to cut into the quick and stuff like that. The other question is that somebody had posted, and I asked the question, what is the wrong way versus the right way of putting a head halter on? I mean, not a head halter, a gentle leader.
There are some, as far as right way, we're actually going to talk a little bit about using one and having one to use. So just kind of sit tight with that question, okay?
Okay, because I switched from back in January, I don't know who it was during that training class, fit Edna with a harness, and then she still high-spirited, I call it, and I had a gentle leader that I started using.
Gotcha.
And I'm getting better control with her, but I had posted something about changing out, and I did talk to, I can't remember if it was Pat or June, and then I've had pictures and stuff like that where I've learned where yes, you cannot tether out using the harness. You have to use the collar. So that I wanted to know the because I didn't have Heidi long enough to know, she was using the gentle leader. I didn't know how to, I'm using it, but I want to make sure I'm using it correctly.
Hey, Robin, I'm gonna interrupt you, Robin, for a second. We're at 12 o'clock, so we're gonna get going with Laura's presentation. Those were wonderful questions. Thank you for bringing them up, Robin.
VJ, can you see my equipment screen here, VJ?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So thank you all for joining us. We ask that you mute your microphones just for the time being. If you have questions, feel free to use the chat. VJ is in the chat. She's going to be monitoring that for me, and you'll be able to see that. We are just going to go over today some uses and putting on some of the equipment. VJ, please holler at me if you can't see or anytime or what I'm talking about, or if my videos don't work, please let me know.
Of course.
So you received every single puppy raiser in their puppy raising packet. You receive a bunch of supplies. And so the first couple pieces of supplies that you receive are a bandana and a jacket. And every single person gets one of those. And if you didn't in your bag for any reason, type it in the chat for VJ so she can go through that. The first thing that you receive is this adorable little blue bandana. And they are not new. We've been using the bandanas for quite a long time, although some of the things looked a little different. At one time, there was a little red paw. Now it's black. But I know we've been using these particular bandanas for over 7 years because yesterday was my 7-year anniversary at Leader Dog. So we've never had anything but these since I've been here. The bandana is for use right now for when your puppy's too small for the jacket. So some of our puppies, you'll notice, are fairly large when you get them. They're 15 pounds plus. Sometimes the jacket already fits. But in some cases, they're little tiny things, 8, 10 pounds, where the jacket doesn't quite fit them. Then it's appropriate to use the bandana. What I like to keep the bandana for, I keep it in my car for quick, unexpected trips. So I actually have one in my glove box in my car because, as we know, training opportunities present themselves sometimes when we're not at our most prepared. For myself, I know I might have 20 minutes in between activities, or I might have a few minutes to get out of my car and go for a walk or work some stairs or do something. So I keep one in my car just so that I can be able to put it on my puppy quickly and have a training opportunity. I know other people that do that as well. The nice thing about the bandana, it's pretty easily identifiable when you look at this puppy wearing this bandana. And just so you guys know, this is the only bandana they should be wearing. So if you're going to put this bandana on your puppy and use it as standard equipment, they shouldn't be wearing other bandanas. This should be the one that they use because we want our puppies to be able to be identified in public with a certain bandana that they have on. And again, it's used for public settings. You're out in public. Hey! Feel free to use this bandana. Another thing about the bandana is it's yours to keep, and you can modify it. You can put embroider your puppy's name on it. I know lots of people do that and keep it as a keepsake for the rest of the time they have their puppy. So that is how you can use the bandana, and you can see it here on this puppy. It fits well. Might hang down a little bit, but for the time being, like I said, this is a pretty standard piece of equipment that we issue for you. So there's going to be some steps to using your bandana. After this, we talk about the steps. I'm going to play a little video of just putting it on. The first one is that you're going to pre-tie your bandana. So you're actually not going to put it on and wrestle with your puppy trying to tie those ends up. You're going to make sure the bandana has a hole large enough, so you're going to tie it with a large enough hole that you can easily slip it on over top of your puppy's head when you're doing this practice time. You're going to have your puppy on your left side. This mimics, and putting on the bandana, putting on the jacket like you're going to see in the video, really mimics how they put the harness on the dogs in training. All of our clients keep the dogs on the left side, and that's pretty standard for every piece of equipment that you're going to put on. And when you start off on a lot of our different training things, you're going to always keep that puppy on the left. You're going to have the bandana in your left hand, and you're going to have your treat in the right hand. So sometimes what I like to do with any of these things is before I actually get my puppy out, I'm actually going to physically look at the items that I'm using and the positioning of my hand and the positioning of the bandana without a dog. That is great practice for us. We need muscle memory as well to try to figure out how this is going to work before you get a puppy that's got some teeth or that likes to lick or has some exuberance. It's good to get familiar with these pieces of equipment before even putting a puppy in your hands. You're going to take this bandana, you're going to lure the puppy's head into the bandana with that right hand treat. And as your puppy is eating or chewing, you're going to slide the bandana over top of your puppy's head. I do this, in fact, I let them eat through, and you're going to see in the video that I have upcoming here, I let the puppy eat the treat through the bandana hole a couple times before I slip it completely over his head. Although with my puppy, he's old enough, he's done this enough, he can really easily do this exercise, but I still practice a couple of times. He hasn't been out in public, so we haven't used his bandana in about a month now, but he did put it on and off pretty easily. And remember, it's very, very important. I put it in all caps. I put it in bold here that you want to take off your bandana for parking. So here is a video. This was taken of my puppy, and he's putting on his bandana. So let's watch. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am putting the bandana, I'm offering it to him, and he's eating a treat through the bandana. I said I was going to do this a couple of times. I'm sliding it over as he's chewing. And I'm going to do the exact same thing as I take it off. So you can see, we're going to watch it a couple times, that I used the treat. I've got my bandana in my hand there. I've got a left hand. I've got the treat in my right hand. I've got my treat pouch here on this side so that I can easily get to it, easily get to him, and it's a pretty smooth process. I want you guys to remember too, the puppy in this video is 7.5 months old. So he's been doing this for quite a while now, and he's not moving his head or trying to grab at the bandana. And again, if your puppy is trying to grab at the bandana, maybe it's you know, looks different. That's why I'm just taking it really nice and slow and luring his head to get the kibble rather than thinking about the bandana. But let's watch it one more time. If it's helpful for you, you could have your puppy on a leash, on a ground tether. That would be appropriate at this time. Awesome. Does anybody have any questions about taking the bandana on and off? Could you all see that video?
Yes, we see the video.
Okay, cool. All right. So we're moving on to the jacket. Everyone in your packet was issued a jacket. And again, same as the bandana, it's very easily identifiable, identifies you in public. It's got the front patch here that says Future Leader Dog, and it clips. You're going to want to keep that clipped. It also clips underneath the belly here and has an extension strap. You should have received an extension strap in the packet that your jacket came from. Again, if you didn't, please let me know. I can send you one. We had some problems with our clips not fitting when we first had these jackets made. If you see another jacket, maybe it's longer, goes past the dog's hips here, those are no longer being used. That would be an older jacket, and you want to ask Puppy Development if they can give you a new style jacket. Nobody should be using the old style jackets anymore, but just in case. This jacket also contains some side pockets here, and you can see that you can just maybe tuck in there your identification card. I keep a little tiny copy of my contract and my vaccination sheet in there, just in case if I'm out in public. It's a nice little feature to have. It mimics the harness going over top of the dog's head. The harness is designed exactly the same way, that there's this piece in the front that it clips on the side, and it's very, very similar to that, to the harness. It's for use in public, and we ask that you do not modify this jacket in any way. It actually is property of Puppy Development and needs to come back with your puppy, so please do not modify the jacket in any way. This also, with the jacket, you want to take it off for parking. So the steps to putting on the jacket is very similar to the bandana. You're going to want to keep that front piece clipped so that you have that kind of hole that your puppy sticks his head through. Very similar to the bandana in that way. You're going to have your puppy on the left side. The jacket's going to be in your left hand, the treat in your right hand. You're going to lure your puppy's head into the jacket, and you're going to move it over the head while the puppy is eating or chewing. Then you're going to have your puppy, it's a little step I didn't include here, but you'll see it in the video that I have next, is that you're going to have your puppy in a stand. Mine likes to sit, as do lots of our puppies like to have that automatic sit. So he's sitting when I put it on. I have to ask him to stand so that I can clip that belly strap. And I always reinforce them after every clip or every movement that I make on this jacket or bandana. I really want to reinforce that. I do that clip, and then they get an additional reinforcement after that. I find doing it in the steps makes it really easy for the dog to know that just because we've got the headpiece of the harness on, we're not jumping forward or leaping forward, which can happen sometimes. You do it the exact same way, just backwards to take it off. and you want to take off the jacket for parking. So I have a video coming up here. Same thing, you could have your puppy on a leash if you wanted to for this exercise. What I want you to watch that I think is a good piece to this, I want you to watch how happy he is and how he's looking at the jacket. You can see his tail wag because he really is excited to put the jacket on. This is a big deal for him. He loves to stick his head through the jacket. So we're going to go ahead and watch. Very similar. You can see that the jacket's in the left hand. My treats are going to be in the right hand. As he's chewing, I have to get him into the stand, lure him into a stand. I clip the belly strap, and he stands still because he's received reinforcement from me for standing there. Putting this on and off at each phase. I said I unclip and reinforce and unclip and reinforce. We're going to watch it again. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. VJ, if there's anything in the chat or any questions that I can answer.
Yeah, Laura, first I want to share with you a comment. People are saying these videos are wonderful. And the second thing I wanted to share with you is a question from Amy. And she's asking you, do you find the puppies are more body sensitive to this style of jacket since it's shorter down their back once they move into the guide harness?
Actually, this is, like I said, it's really designed to be a lot much similar to the harness. Body sensitivity has there's lots of reasons for body sensitivity and not necessarily related to the equipment that we're using. So I think that this probably, we haven't noticed any increases, if that makes sense.
Okay, and then one more question, Laura. Colleen's asking, are these jackets washable?
Yes, I have put mine in the washer, although I do line dry it. I don't put it in the dryer. I don't think it makes any difference, but I do that with any of my, I'm a laundry guru. I do so much laundry in this house. So I like to line dry this just for those reasons. It does fade a little bit. You may have received a used jacket since we do recycle them. And if you are a returning raiser to us, you are welcome to keep your same jacket. And just say, hey, I don't need this new jacket. I've got a jacket already from my previous puppy and I'd like to hang on to it. That's fine too. But you can take it apart and wash it, yes. Same with the bandana. I actually, before I put this bandana on, I went out to my car. I got the bandana from my glove box and it was kind of dirty. So I did wash it before I made this video. So you can wash and iron your bandanas as well.
So I have two more questions. The first one is from Kathy. She says the chest strap without the extension is too tight, but with the extension just hangs loose. Is there a different size of extension?
There is not. That's a great question. So you might have to do some kind of home modifications if the straps don't quite fit. They're made to fit a large variety and size of dog. So it's okay to maybe fold it over a little bit, put a little bit of tape on it, and then slide that, you can see here, you can slide the patch that goes over the front of it over top of that. So you can modify it using something like that, or maybe even, I was going to say a safety pin, but I don't like to use pins on my dog, but some duct tape, you could kind of modify it. If it still doesn't fit and you're still kind of struggling with it and you'd like it to fit a little bit better, let us know. I can replace your jacket for you. It'll likely be a used one. It won't be brand new, but if it doesn't quite fit your dog right, it might be possible another one will. Like I said, these are made because they have to fit every kind and style and size of dog that we breed. So it's a little tough sometimes. Some dogs are funny. It's just like finding the right pair of jeans. I'm sure we've all struggled with that.
So that answer was awesome, Laura, and that leads right into Penny's question. She said there are some rough edges on the jacket. How can we make this more comfortable?
If it's on the part of the jacket that has the webbing and there's maybe some strings hanging down or maybe a rough patch, you can melt that. I hate to say that, but oh, it says someone else started sharing. We're going to dismiss that. Hang on, guys, just a second. Oh, I think someone might be sharing a picture. Okay, we're back to my slides. So like I said, you can modify that if there's a rough patch on there. Vet wrap would be something else you could put on if you think it's maybe rubbing the wrong way. And again, if you think a different jacket would fit, they're all made cookie cutter cut out the blue part, but sometimes the straps are a little unique to each particular jacket for whatever reason. So if you need help with it, let me know. When all this kind of blows over a little bit more, I can help you with jacket fitting if you need to.
Laura, would you please tell me, would you please go review that again about the old style jacket with the strap or the buckle? I missed what you were talking about.
Just the old style jacket, they're no longer in use. And if you have any spares laying around, they can be discarded.
Oh, you mean the longer style, the old one, not that there was a difference in the new vests.
Yes, there is. We haven't noticed any dogs being any more or less body sensitive.
Okay.
Using this particular new jacket.
Okay, I thought you meant there was a difference in vests.
No, well, I mean, they're made to all be the same size, but because of sewing and they're all made individually, they're not a factory produced model. They actually work.
I just misunderstood that comment. That's all.
Okay. So we're gonna watch it one more time, and then I'll get onto the martingales. I just love the tail wag. I just have to tell you, it makes me happy that he's happy. His tail's wagging the whole time we're putting it on. He knows that jacket comes on, we go do something fun typically, and he's happy to do it for me, which is a great part of positive reinforcement training. So that was the jacket video again. All right, so the next thing that you received in your bag were martingale collars, and they're highly adjustable. You get one that is small and one that is large. And what I just want to say about these is they really are, they're made to adjust, and they're made not to slip over your dog's head. They're made for you to unclip them with the clip style and clip them on every time. Same with the jacket and the clips. When I put on the martingale, I clip it, and then I reinforce my puppy. And I'm reinforcing him for standing still and allowing me to adjust the equipment that I'm putting on him. And same with dogs in training. They will do a lot of the same things. As the dog is standing there, and you want them to stand quietly to put equipment on. That should be something that you're working with your puppy to do. Same with the leash. I clip on the leash. I give them a reinforcement. I clip the martingale. They get a reinforcement from me because I want to really reinforce the idea that they're standing still and being still while I'm placing equipment on their bodies. These martingales are also designed just like we have in the first picture, the picture that you'll see on the left, so that the rings aren't touching. They're designed to be as you pull, they tighten up. You can see these here, the rings are touching. If the rings touch and you have the martingale as small as it will go, if the rings touch, it is too big and do not use it. The rings should not be touching on the martingale. Some of you will find that you're going to be using your small martingale for a really long time, that your puppy doesn't necessarily grow into this big martingale as you would like. And again, we try to give you equipment that will be fit for all of our dogs, but that's not necessarily always the case. There's not going to be a certain time or a certain month that you will find that the martingale fits. You just want to keep trying it, and when it fits, and you can begin to use it for your walks. If it doesn't, you're going to continue still using the loose leash method that we advise you to use without the martingale and just your flat buckle collar. I actually almost bypassed the little collar once my dogs are big enough and old enough for the bigger martingale collar. They have good loose leash manners, and I'm able to quickly transition into that. The dogs in training, they use a martingale collar as well, although it's leather. It's not this style. I see a lot of you on Facebook and wanting to buy a martingale collar that matches the collar that you have on your puppy. That's absolutely fine as long as it has this piece that you can unclip. A lot of martingales are made or that will buckle in some fashion. We want it to be able to clip on your puppy, and that's when it fits the best. Just like your collar, it's going to fit with that same kind of tightness, that it doesn't necessarily isn't going to be big enough where you can slip it on and slip it off over the head. It should fit snug enough that you're going to need to unclip it. I hope that makes sense to everyone when using the martingale. I didn't make a video of that, but if the rings touch too big, don't use it. That's in your manual as well. You can find there's some pictures of dogs wearing a manual. I think it was my 6th puppy that is in there, 5th or 6th puppy. He's in there in the puppy raising manual, and you'll see a martingale on him. Does anybody have any other questions about equipment thus far, about the martingale, using the martingale at all? Any questions?
Laura, we do have a question from a raiser. This is a first-time puppy raiser, and they're asking, should the jacket be worn anytime in public? Any guidance about jackets and summer heat? And they're from Austin, Texas.
That is an awesome question. And I meant to say this during the jacket portion. I forgot to write it on my slide. First of all, the jacket and bandana, it's one or the other. I know you see a lot of people with one of them on. We have not noticed any temperature changes in wearing the jacket. So our Labradors are made, that is the great thing about labs and our lab golden crosses and goldens is the coat type that they have. So usually we have not had any or experienced any problems with the summer heat in the jacket. You always want to make sure that anytime in the summer that your dog has adequate access to water and shade when you're out and about. Same thing with people. You're going to notice if you need to take it off, and that's what I would be looking for. I do not use my jacket or bandana when I'm going for neighborhood walks. I use it when I'm out in public and my puppy needs to be identified as such. That's the times when I would be using my jacket or bandana. I want my puppy to know that while we're walking and he's just being a dog, that he doesn't need to wear that piece of equipment. So I think of it in that way. I want him to be easily identified in public. And you can see my puppy got really excited when I went to put on that jacket. He was like, hey, we're off. We're out doing something and we're out working and having a good time. And that's what we want our puppies to know from wearing the jacket.
So I have another good question. There's wonderful questions today. Kathy's asking, with younger puppies, how do you handle it if they park while in jacket or bandana? For example, on a loose leash training walk.
I like that question. There isn't much you can do. So if I were you, and I've been in this situation, I just, for you first time raisers, if you're wondering, I was out the very first time, puppy number 1. We were at a baseball game and I was just having a good old time and I forgot to take off my bandana, and I was horrified because I tell everybody this all the time: take off your bandanas, take off your jackets, and I myself forgot. Luckily for me, I moved past that pretty quickly. I wasn't too hard on myself. Sometimes you just can't get it off. Don't beat yourself up about it. I want you to think of it as, okay, well, I just got to be more proactive in looking and seeing when my puppy's going to park and when they're not. Usually, by the time they're parking reliably in the house and doing that, you're going to know when they hit the grass that they're gonna park and to take off the jacket. So it's information for you to use in watching for your puppy's potty signals and parking signals. And I think that don't beat yourself up about it. If it's something routinely that every time you snap on the jacket, he pees or poops while he's wearing the jacket, I think then that would be an issue for you to discuss with your puppy counselor or puppy development. But in general, those are our mistakes and they're oopses. And I want you to just move quickly past that.
Okay, that was awesome. Laura, I have another really good question. This puppy raiser is asking, do you have a video with the leash and putting the jacket on? And if not, how does the leash work into when you're putting the jacket on or taking it off?
I love that question. I almost made the video with the leash, and I didn't. And I guess I should have. So really all you need to do is just slide that leash right on through and readjust yourselves. You can put it on with or without the leash. Like I put it on. I always happen to be inside in a fenced area putting it on. If I was outside, you can do it what way feels comfortable for you. That's what I'm going to say about that, because I could tell you all day long, I take my left hand and I move it this way and I manipulate the leash this way. But in reality, that's not what happens. So I want you to just slide that leash right on through. When you get the jacket on, I just pull it through. I know people who hold the leash in the same hand as their treat hand and slide it over that way. You certainly could do that also. But I tell you guys what, I will try to get one up on YouTube where I use the leash a couple different ways. Okay, I'll try to get that done for you.
Okay, those were great questions, and we have a lot of wonderful comments about how great this presentation is with the slides and videos.
So just really quickly for everyone who's wondering, and I wanted to put this slide out there because we get a lot of questions on it. Robin had some earlier in the presentation, and I wanted to let you guys know. What about gentle leaders, halties, or harnesses? So you might see some other people using them, and you might think, oh, that looks so great. I need one of those for my puppy right now. I want to get on this today, and I want my puppy to walk that way. Gentle leaders, they're also called halties or head collars. They're all the same type of thing. They're different brand names. That's why you might hear them used interchangeably. There's also a harness that we use for our puppy raisers, and I put this at the bottom. You must have permission to use them from your counselor or puppy development. I know you guys are getting puppies right now without a lot of support from physical outings that you can go to. But if you work with puppy development or your counselor, you exchange maybe some emails and some video. That's something that we can allow you to do if you've tried our methods. We don't want you to use a halty, a gentle leader, or a harness without us walking you through the specific steps to be able to do that. What they are is management tools to help you. They are not standard equipment that we advise, because realistically you should be able to, and we all can if we practice hard enough to get our puppies to walk without them, and you're going to eventually wean them off. If we feel that you need one, if we feel that maybe your loose leash walking isn't coming along the way that you expect, and you're trying hard and you're working hard at it, and maybe your puppy does some behaviors that would be beneficial to use one of these, then we're absolutely more than happy to help you use one and issue one to you. But we really want you to come to us or your puppy counselor before that. That's very important, because the fit and the use really needs to be under our direction. I know these products are available at a retail store, but we want you to get them from us. We want to fit them properly for you, and we want to help you in using this management tool. So please see us if you need one or you think you need one. The first step is to contact your puppy counselor.
Oh, that was wonderfully put, Laura. We have a question from Angelique, and she's asking, is there a particular reason that a martingale is used versus a training collar? She's just curious because they primarily use, for Guide Dogs of America, the gentle leader. She says some puppies need the power steering of a gentle leader.
That is just what we have decided works best for the majority of our puppies and raisers. Not to say that that can't change at some point or that we're not looking into using them more often. We do issue gentle leaders to our clients when the dogs are in training. So it is something that your puppy might get used to while they're in training with us. But for right now, we've decided that martingales are the equipment of choice. And until that changes and until we do some more research on using the other methods, we're going to stick with the martingales for right now. But that's a great question. I know lots of other guide schools and trainers start off with gentle leaders. We're just not going to do that at this time. Like I said, that could change. We could decide that we have a methodology for using it, and that would be great. But for the time being, we're going to stick with the martingales.
I think that's it with the questions on my end, Laura, in the chat.
Okay, awesome. I'm back at my little classroom area. So if you guys have any other questions, like I said, I'm happy to answer them. You can email me at lfisher, that's LFISHER, @leaderdog.org. I'm happy to answer your questions that way. And you also, if you want to talk to anyone else in puppy development, it's Puppy Department, PUPPYDEPT, @leaderdog.org. You can reach us there. And thank you for coming today. It's always nice to see everyone and talk to everyone in a little different way than just via email or phone. So let me know if you have any other questions, and if not, enjoy your lunch hour, and we'll see you next time.
Laura?
Yes.
Laura? Nancy Colombo. Just one thing. I wrote a note for the chat, and I didn't know how to make it go through.
Okay.
I typed something in, and it didn't show up, so I just need to know how to do this. But I'll tell you what I said. For one thing,
Okay.
when VJ talks, my dog gets excited. He doesn't get excited at your voice. He knows VJ's. Anyway, but just to remind people that when it really does, when they put a martingale on, a scarf on, whatever, just remind people, because I've seen them do this so many times, is they'll have that leash underneath the scarf or between the scarf and the martingale, and that the last thing between the martingale and their ears is the leash there. You know, rather than the leash being underneath the scarf or underneath the collar or something. Yeah.
You want to just check it over after you put it on. Yeah. That's a great comment. And Nancy's comment was, for those of you who maybe didn't hear it, was that she said you want to make sure that the scarf or the leash and nothing's interfering with your equipment. And that's a great comment. You definitely want to make sure. And that's another reason why I do that little reinforcement at the end there for my dog. So he stays in position so I can make sure that my leash or my collar and everything's fitted properly before I go head out.
Yeah, many times I've seen them with the collar with the leash, with the scarf going up the collar because it's underneath, you know, so they should know that that's the last thing.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. But I got to figure out how to make this chat words go. Maybe I'll check later. Okay, it was a very good session. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Nancy. Any other questions? I don't see that there are any, but thanks, guys.
There's one from Dana if you have time, Laura.
I definitely do. Dana, what can I help you with?
She says, my puppy is 8 weeks and I put on the scarf and the puppy tries to bite it. What is the best way to detract?
Oh, okay.
That is a great question. What I think would be helpful, Dana, is if you really have your scarf maybe over top of your arm here and your treat in your hand. That might be a little more beneficial because then he might not be thinking so much about the scarf and the value, maybe have a little higher value reinforcer there. And then you can slide it over his head if it's over top of your arm. Sometimes that works really good for people. And Nancy did figure it out. She said, when Bailey hears your voice, Nancy, we can see your comments now.
Yeah,
is that helpful, Dana? I know sometimes you really have to kind of put that treat by their nose to really get them thinking more about the food than the bandana. So I know that's kind of hard. Somebody else asked, when's the next session? VJ, isn't your next session on Saturday?
Yes, my next session is Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you all. It's about platforms, outdoors with platforms and surfaces. We also had a question from Amy. I don't know, Amy, if you're still there and you'd like to ask.
I'm still here if Amy's available.
I don't see her. All right.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy your lunch and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Guys.
Laura?
Yes.
Thank you.
I noticed in the slide of the jacket that was a picture of me and Heidi.
Oh, yes. I was actually, Kathy, I was wondering who that was. I was like, I can't see this person's legs, but I should know who this is.
That's me and Heidi.
Yay!
So I recognized the collar. So that was who you had on that slide. Thank you very much. I'm famous now.
I was wondering, I grabbed some pictures that I had on my computer and I was looking specifically to get that that one, and it was really cool. So thank you.
That was me and Heidi. Thank you very much. We're famous.
Awesome.
Thank you, Laura. We'll see everybody Saturday.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.